What up, everybody? This is another episode of Boom, Doom, 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 Doom. Two brothers in the huddle. Yes, sir. Baby bro Jordan hanging out in Seattle, West Coast, Best Coast.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Brother Monster hanging out on the East Coast in the ATL. What up, Sade?
Yes, sir. Monster Wildcard Weekend is in the books. And before we get to talking about any of the games, let's go back and review your picks from last week. Yes, sir. So who wins the wild card bet? Yep, 4 games to 2. That's right. So
yeah.
So no, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
We're talking about around that pepper.
Matter of fact, I need to go look at the spread and make sure that everybody covered their spread.
Oh, they did. Everybody covered. That's the thing about it. Everybody covered.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry.
All right.
So yeah, instead of the round at Torrey Pines, you know what? I'll be fair. I'll just take some gear. I need something to wear, so just hook me up with some East Side golf gear. How about that?
Sound good. Coming your way.
All right, boom. Send me a package. Size. You know what? I don't know how it fits. I could be a medium. I could be
medium.
No, give me a medium. I like the way the medium fits on my, fit on my body. Look at that. You see how good that look, Monster? Give me a medium.
Man, you can't even button your collar. That thing too tight.
All right, let's talk about these games, starting with the AFC, the first game of the playoffs on last Saturday, the Raiders and the Bengals. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati, man, they're doing something special.
They on fire.
They're a pretender.
They on fire. They contenders. They contenders. Them kids, them young kids.
Them young boys.
Been playing hard. They've been playing hard for the last few weeks. Better yet, all year. You got Joe Burrow that looked like he'd been in the league for about 5 years. He looked relaxed. He looked calm out there. Wasn't no pressure like you've been there before. Man, you got to love a young veteran like that on your team that's leading your team. And guess what? They feed off of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he's out there making plays, giving Jamar Chase the ball and distributing the ball all around through the offense and just giving it to them, man, the defense feed off of that. You and I both know that. That's the momentum swing right there. When your offense is rolling and the defense come in there and do their thing too, that's a momentum that sometimes cannot be stopped. And of course, having the momentum in the playoffs is very crucial.
Well, they did something also in the run game. 17 carries to me, just controlling the clock. They didn't do anything like over the top in terms of stats. Only 48 yards for Mixon, but Joe Burrow, 110 passer rating. Jamar Chase, he got his 12 targets, over 116 receiving. But for the Raiders, I mean, look, would you say the Raiders' season was, at least in the locker room, a success? Or do you think that they overachieved, because they were out of it? And somehow the last game and the spirits of John Madden pushed them over the edge and they got into the playoffs. I know it wasn't the inning that they hoped for, but I think the Raiders, they got something to build on, considering what they went through. I think we said this in the last show. All of the, challenges that they had to overcome, from the head coach to players on the team. It was a madhouse for a second in Las Vegas. But now I think Las Vegas have what I think is an attractive head coaching vacancy that, someone could go in and take this franchise and build on, what they accomplished this season. So look, they lost to the wild card. I think they overachieved because they shouldn't have gotten in. But they should have been sending the coach thank you cards. and look, but that said, certainly wasn't the way that they wanted it to end.
Here's the thing. I think the Raiders could have challenged Kansas City this year for that division. The Raiders started out pretty good, and then they got a little inconsistent, throughout the season, which the Raiders have been throughout the last few years. They've been inconsistent. But when they put it all together, they're an unstoppable team. You know, we all seen it time and time again the last few weeks of the season how, you know, they was fighting until the end and somehow came away with a victory. Well, same thing this past Saturday in the playoffs. I mean, they fought, they tried to come back, but you know, got the short end of the stick. But yeah, man, they definitely got the players on the team. You know, they just missing a few key pieces and maybe the right leadership. You know, I
Yeah.
think the interim coach did a wonderful job stepping in after all that went down. But man, it would be really exciting to see the Raiders hire Brian Flores as the head coach. I
Yeah, I
think that
think
would be a
that
good
that's a
move.
personality match too as well. But now
Yep,
Raiders in for a new GM as well, so you know that the
yep.
head coach and the GM they're going to be tied together. So we'll see what they decide to do there. Raiders ended the season with a 4-game winning streak, but they had some bad losses. They
Yep,
had some
they
bad
did.
losses in the regular season, and Kansas City is still the big brother in that division. They put up 40 points in both games. Moving on to the other AFC
Hold
matchup.
on.
What you got?
Let's talk about the last time the Bengals won a playoff game. I think you were 9 years old. I don't
Oh,
think you even liked the Bengals back then with Boomer Esiason. Who else? You had the what's my man name that do the shuffle? Uh,
no, not Icky.
yeah, Icky was there.
Okay,
Wasn't Icky there?
man, that's been a long time. 1991.
1991.
Oh my goodness. Let's
You
see
probably didn't know
who.
what a banger was.
Oh man. Let's see who was on the
Who
roster.
was on the squad? Who was the head coach?
So Boomer Esiason, Sam
Yep,
White was the head coach.
Sam White.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think Icky. That might have been.
It might have been a little
Icky
bit
was
before.
there. No,
Icky
Icky
was
was
there, huh?
there. Yeah,
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 yeah. I know my football.
yeah. Running backs, Eric Ball. Yeah, I
Mm,
don't. A lot of these names, Monster, I don't even recognize.
yeah, hey, it's been some decades. It's definitely been
Yeah,
some decades.
Mike
Almost,
Barber,
almost 30
receiver.
years ago. 30 years ago, they won the Super Bowl.
Was cell
I mean,
phones?
playoff game.
Was cell phones out back then? No.
Cell phones were out, but you know, text messaging wasn't.
Ah,
You know, it was just dollar number and that was it. It wasn't a text message. Matter of fact, I don't think cell phones had screens. It was more so in the cars. All you had was the little flip down thing. You punch the number. Hello. Yeah, I'm in my car right now. I got me a phone in my car.
no.
Yeah. All
The
right.
phone was. How big were the cell phones in the
Man,
car?
about that
About
big.
oh my!
About that big. That
But if you
wide.
had a cell phone in the car back in the early '90s, man,
Oh
you
yeah.
was balling.
You was on.
Well,
Yeah,
congratulations
just a
to the
little
Bengals.
back in history. Little back in history
Yep.
for the Bengal fans out there.
No, I appreciate that. Look, and here's the thing. We'll preview the divisional matchups here in a second, but
All right.
they got a tough one headed down to Nash Vegas. How about Belichick? Can Belichick put a game plan to stop Josh Allen? Mm, 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 mm.
Man, honestly, you got to play Josh Allen like you play Cam Newton. You know, he's a factor. He can run it at any given moment. He can go on the quarterback sweep with three pullers in front of him. You know, so he's definitely a factor and more of a contributor than just passing the ball. But Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills had Belichick number this year. Yeah, the first game of the season,
Woo.
the first matchup, you know, when Belichick ran the ball all game long, you know, that was just philosophy. That was just playing smart football, considering the weather conditions, you know, and not turning the ball over. That gave Matt Jones some more confidence at throwing the ball three times and running the ball the rest of the time. You know, it kind of give your quarterback some confidence. Like, shit, I ain't got to throw the ball and still control the game. But Man, hats off to the Bills. Y'all did y'all thing against Belichick. Belichick did bounce back very well this year, considering what kind of season that he had last year. I'm sure there's a few, pieces that's missing, but we know it's not the quarterback, and we know it's not the head coach. So what is it? What is it
Yeah.
that Belichick can't do? Is he missing Tom Brady? Is that the thing?
The X factor. Well, well, the GOAT's still playing, and he's a franchise changer. He's not a game changer. He changes the franchise, and of course, you see what's happening down in Tampa Bay. Look, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are the real deal. They the new big brother. They the new kid on the block in the AFC East. Put up 30 points in the second matchup, and then 40 points in the playoff matchup against the Belichick defense. That says a lot. Buffalo Bills, man. Like Boom used to say, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So we'll see what happens down at Arrowhead. We'll preview that game here in a second too as well. Well, that was the Saturday matchups, 3 matchups on Sunday. And of course, everyone's talking about the Cowboys and the 49ers. But before we get to that, the Buccaneers put up 30 and took care of the Eagles, who had really just a good fourth quarter where they scored 15 points. But other than that, they didn't do anything all game. The Tom Brady effect is the real deal. And, well, they did it without 2 of their star receivers, and it was Tom Brady and Mike Evans and a little bit of Gronk, but only in the red zone.
Yeah.
What'd you see in that matchup?
I just seen that Tampa Bay controlled the game. I felt like Tampa Bay was more calm than the Eagles as a whole. I feel like Justin Fields wasn't comfortable at all throughout the game. Made some key mistakes. That's part of the learning experience, especially going against a veteran team and a veteran quarterback. Man, you got to dot your I's and dot your T's in the playoffs. Every down, every snap, every block, every catch, every run is crucial. Every second of the clock is crucial.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Hurts. Yeah. Hurts.
Got it. Yeah, well, you talk about – look at the difference in dynamic of age. I don't know. Who knows how old Brady is, first of all? He got Hurts coming in.
Brady about 45.
No, he ain't 45, man. The kid looked like he's playing like he 30 years old, man. And he more than anything, it's more impressive than how he can still deliver the ball down the field at that age. So we'll just say Brady is 40 something.
One thing that Brady possessed more than anybody in the league. It's just one thing that he possessed more than every quarterback can throw, right? Every quarterback can maybe run a scramble or extend the play. The one thing it looks like Brady doesn't do is panic. He never panics. He can sit back there and pat the ball all day long. Why? He trusts his O-line. He trusts that he has time, more than 3 seconds, which is average in the NFL for the quarterback to get the ball off. But I feel like he trusts in his teammates to do their job as much as he do his.
Yeah. And of course, you see the age gap. Hurts and Brady, 44 and 23, 19 years. Look, I'm sorry, 21 years. Excuse my math. But how about Gronk? Gronk really never has just standout stat lines, but him and Brady gonna find a way to get connected, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's not gonna wow you anymore. The only wow would be scoring a touchdown, getting his spike on, and celebrating with Brady. That's it. That's what he's gonna give you. He's not gonna give you 5 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns anymore. That is totally out the window, out the picture right now with Gronk. He's old reliable in the red zone. Mr. Reliable in the red zone. Look, 15 career playoffs. That's the most for any tight end in NFL history. But, records are meant to be broken. So I'm sure there'll be somebody out there to come behind him and score 16, maybe 17 or 18.
Gronk most touchdowns in the playoffs by tight end. So Buccaneers moving on, and they have a tough matchup next week as well. We'll talk about last night's game here in a second. 49ers Cowboys, probably the most controversial game in terms of discussions all week, and a lot of things are swirling, not just around how the game ended, but the possible opportunities of Jerry Jones taking action on his coaching staff. 49ers and Cowboys, your old coach Shanahan dominated the football game by running the ball and forcing the Cowboys, well, to beat themselves. They had 14 penalties in a game, big monster. You can't win like that in the playoffs.
I don't know what it is about Dallas. Dallas got the most talent that you can compete with on a year-to-year basis, and they always shooting themselves in the foot. Always. Penalties was a major factor. That, let alone tackling. The 49ers ran the ball down their throat, and it looked like Dallas ain't never tackled somebody before. I mean, I know the coordinator personally, Dan Quinn, and I know what he preaches and how he put in small details of, a cowboy roll. In Seattle, y'all had the hawk roll or the Seahawk roll. In Atlanta, we had the Falcon roll. There's all these different tools you have in your box to be able to take a defender down. You what's the other one? Hit them and drive your legs 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was none of that. We never seen not one time that the San Francisco running backs fell backwards. They were always falling forward. That looked bad as a defense. So I think it was the mindset of the defense that came up short, even though the offense struggled, which is fine because it's a playoff game. The offense is not going to go out there and dominate just freely like the regular season because everything tightens up. And we all know that. But it is crucial. It is crucial for defenses to start the game off and not allow the offense on the other team to get going. But, man, Shanahan, he's a mastermind at drawing up some plays. I mean, he had everybody pulling at one time. And I'm like, I've never seen a play ran like that in my 12-year career. I've never seen what he's been doing. He's pulling the backside guard and the backside tight end to lead block. That's something you ain't never seen before. And that forces your nickel guy or whoever is playing support on the outside to come up and go hit a big old 296-pound guard, and then you got a 260-pound tight end coming behind in the block. So, I mean, it's a lot of misdirection plays that you have to focus on your job when you're playing against Shanahan and his offense.
Yep. And they had that running game going. 169 yards on the ground. And Deebo Samuel accounted for 72 of those on 10 carries. They couldn't stop the run. I don't know what Cowboys defense that was, but they couldn't stop the run. Cowboys go home. Well, here's the thing. Watching this game, I know there's a lot of controversy. And this brings me to, guess what, Monster? My damn! Did you see that moment of Wild Card Weekend? Run the tape. Damn, did you see this? 14 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts, and the Cowboys, they need a touchdown. Dak Prescott, McCarthy, they called the draw. Now they're trying to spot the ball. Referee in the way. He respots it, sets up. Dak clocks it. Game over. First off, that's my damn to just see that moment. Look, I like the play call. I think it's a good play. Get them down a little closer. Now,
great play.
Now, Dak could have got down a little sooner. Okay, good. But he didn't. Okay. Dak gave the ball to his center. Okay. Now the referees are trying to get in position. So they instead of giving it to the referee, he gives it to the center. That was probably mistake number one. Mistake number two is the referees. One, no one had a clear spot of where to put this ball. So how would the ref come in, move the ball? First of all, he knocked the center and the quarterback out the way, then moved the ball. Here's what I'm saying. If you NFL, you got to review this. You got to review this. You review everything. You review turnovers. You review touchdowns. You got to review this. The game should not have ended like this because this is, in my opinion, the human error, right? The reviews are there to eliminate human error. You got to review this. New York, I don't know how New York didn't think that they needed to review this. Look at them. I mean, look, I know the ref's trying to do his job and get in position so he can spot the ball, but the side judge didn't even have a spot. How the hell did they know where to put that ball? I'm not a Cowboys fan, just so y'all know. I can give a care Cowboys fan, but I'm a football fan, and I'm saying New York got to review this. That's my damn to just see that moment. I'll leave it at that because Cowboys fans was not happy, and in fact, they were so unhappy with it. This is what they did as the referees were walking off of the field. Like, you know what? Take this trash with you.
Go.
This beer, this can of water, or whatever else. And
man, they almost hit the Cowboy player.
Come on. He almost knocked the end out. Game came in like that, Monster. That's all I'm saying. It just, I think New York should have reviewed this. No problem with the quarterback draw play call, but the referees, you know, they played a factor in the Cowboys' execution of trying to clock that, you know, trying to get that ball clocked. So I'll leave it at that. That's my damn to just see that moment of Wild Card Weekend because that was wild.
That was very wild. Yeah, but to piggyback off of what you said, great play call. I mean, you could see pre-snap where San Fran defenders were. They were all lined up along the sideline. We all know how to play that play at the end of the game when there's no timeouts. Great play call, but I think that Dak should have got down a little bit sooner. 15 yards was too long with 14 seconds left. I mean, you're thinking nothing over 10 yards. Why? Because you still got to get everybody gathered up, lined up, and you still got to get the ref to come spot the ball, right? So now that this play has been ran, everybody in the league has seen this play, and they can nitpick here and there what to do, what not to do in that certain situation, and still come out with a few seconds left. I think if they would have ran it right, ran it correctly, if Dak would have got down sooner, I'm looking at 4 seconds left on the clock, enough to get a Hail Mary play in. You know, five more yards, would have helped his arm? I mean, yes, essentially, but the kid has a strong arm, so I don't think 5 yards would have been that big of a factor to, you know, have a little bit more yardage, less yardage to, you know, throw it in the end zone. But I agree with you. That should have been reviewed, you know, especially a play like that in a crucial situation and what the game was and Cowboys trying to come back at the end of the game and how it could have ended on a Hail Mary. You know, I mean, they should have reviewed the play, but I'm sure there's going to be, you know, a lot of study review in the offseason as far as the refs too. You know, what to do in that certain situation when there's a running quarterback and I got to maneuver through the line to get through and spot the ball. You know, is there another ump that comes in or ref that comes in from the other side and spot the ball in front of them instead of running through the line and knocking people off? So, I mean, this is something that, you know, the NFL and also the refs have to come together on and try to figure this thing out because, like I said, every second is crucial in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the Cowboys wish they had one more second. Look, I would have just loved to see how the game would have ended. I'm not saying the Cowboys would have won.
I did too. I would have loved to
I think they did deserve another play.
But you can't, the Cowboy fans cannot blame this on the refs. Why? Because the Cowboys had the same amount of time that the San Francisco 49ers did, in fact, of scoring points in this game. Dallas got up to a slow start. It was not the refs' fault. If Dallas would have started out fast and kept the game close, I don't think this play right here would have been even a factor in the game. It would have never came down to it. But my damn, did you see that moment stems from last night?
It wasn't the ref's fault. I agree.
Yes.
You want to get to it, or should, want to? Let's preview the games first. Let's preview the game. Let's get through
Okay.
Pittsburgh, and then
All
we'll
right.
talk about AZ in the Monday Night Football game.
Yep. We'll leave that
Well,
one last. Then.
I
Let's
think
talk
we
about the
all
Steelers
knew.
and
I
the
think we
Chiefs.
all knew. Yeah. And you took the Steelers, so I don't know
I did.
what you
I
was
did.
drinking the night before.
But listen. I felt like Pittsburgh offense has been struggling the last few weeks, but they only been scoring 15, 17 points, the last few weeks. But I felt like the defense gave them a chance. And I just felt like the defense would have gave them a chance again in this game. Not necessarily to win, but I was taking the line. That was for sure. I felt like the game would have been a lot closer than what it was. But man, Patrick Mahomes and that offense is electrifying. It's too many weapons and too much speed. I mean, everywhere you look, there's
Yikes.
speed. There's speed at every position. Tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, you name it. They have it all. They have all the weapons, both sides, offense and defense. And I was just looking for Big Ben to go out, on a better note than what he did. But hey, hats off to Big Ben. Man, 18 years in this
Well,
league.
he did. He did go out on a better note than he did. They actually got a playoff game. They shouldn't have had a playoff game either. And they can thank the Raiders silly behind for that.
And the Colts.
So the Raiders thanking the Colts, and the Steelers thanking the Steelers thanking the Chargers and the Colts. So look, They shouldn't even got in. You and I, but it was too much Patrick Mahomes. I think they were like almost 70% on third down. They just couldn't be stopped after that. And I would that first turnover that they the defense scored on.
Boy, I thought I had a chance.
Man, Patrick Mahomes.
I had a chance.
They when they, I don't know, I think at one point they were like 2-3 to start the season or whatever it was, and just went crazy since then. They still a hot team in the AFC, and we'll preview that matchup. All right, let's talk about last night's game.
Speaking of last night's game, let's get to it. My damn, did you see that moment? Kyler Murray, what in the Sam hell you was thinking here, son? I mean, golly. Momentum, man. Ain't nothing like momentum. That was my damn, did you see that moment? Kyler Murray just heaving the ball up. Why? For what? For what? You already know you're about to get sacked. Why would you throw the ball like that? Take the sack, take the 2 points. You don't risk 7-point score on you. That's a 5-point difference.
Look how the defender comes in. Monster, here's what I looked at. The linebacker beats the block and he comes in to make the sack. He don't even know how to hit the quarterback because I'm sure he don't want to get a penalty. Like, man, I'm talking about how to push him down. That
was the sorriest sack I ever seen.
I know it. That should have been a safety. But look,
that should have been a strip sack.
Sack, forced fumble.
Yep.
Instead, everybody eats. Pick six, man. What? A 2-yard pick six.
Man, when you just playing and just getting after people, sometimes people don't know how to react. And guess what?
Happens, man.
You end up making plays on the other side. I mean, who in the hell was he throwing it to though? Number 4 was right there. He wasn't no deeper than the line of scrimmage.
Well, he wasn't trying to get the first. He wouldn't have got the first down. That's for damn sure.
Man, I get it. He was probably trying to throw the ball away, but I mean, at that point in time, man, you just gotta cover the ball up and not give it up for a touchdown. You just got to get your 2 points up and be done with it. But that was my damn. Did you see that moment? That play right there basically sealed the game for the Rams. It was all over. The fat lady was singing loud and clear.
She had drank her tea and started humming and was ready to blow. Look, well, the Cardinals go home and the Rams go to Tampa. That's how that ends.
I like that matchup.
Let's do a divisional preview, and we can talk about the team that has the best chance at winning the Super Bowl. Well, that's probably never won a Super Bowl. There's still a few teams in there that have never won a Super Bowl. That's my Titans, Cincinnati, the Bills.
Yep, Cincinnati and the Bills.
Cincinnati and the Bills. So,
yeah,
Cincinnati, well, they headed down to see my Titans. You think they got a chance? They
I
have a chance
believe
to knock
there
off
is
the
a
number one
chance.
seed in the AFC.
Yeah, I believe there is a chance for the Bengals.
Will they?
It's
Yeah,
very
you're right. You're right.
it's
They have a chance, but will they?
I'm picking the Bengals if you want to pick your Nashville Titans. Hey, we
Oh
can
yeah,
get
you know I'm
another
going with
bet
the
going in
Titans.
the divisional playoff round. I'm fine with that.
I love, when you speaking my language.
I
You know I'm
love the
taking
underdogs.
the
I
Titans.
love the underdogs. Ain't nothing wrong with
Okay.
being the underdog.
49ers head to Lambeau.
I got Green Bay. You can stay in your
Great, because I don't like cheese.
NFC West.
I don't like cheese that much anyway.
Good. Make you constipated.
And I'm
Don't
sorry. The Rams was my NFC pick, so it looked like you're gonna have to go with your NFC South
Nah, you go with Tampa.
representation. Nah,
You
man,
go
that's
with
your
Tampa.
foe.
I ain't
You
going
gotta
with
take
Tampa.
friend or foe.
Man, coin flip. I ain't going with Tampa. We need a coin flip or something. All right, CJ,
You have a choice,
gonna
man.
pick a number. We're gonna pick a
No,
number
ain't no
1 through
number.
10, CJ. CJ, pick a number
No,
1
ain't no
through 10.
number. That's my
Pick a
NFC
number.
pick. How you gonna tell me to go? Tell you what.
No,
Give me
pick
the
a number.
Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
No. Okay, cool. I got the Rams.
You taking my NFC pick. I'm going against myself. You don't want to take the Bucks, huh? You got
I thought you
little
picked
bit of
Tampa to
taste in
win
your
it
mouth,
all.
huh?
I thought you picked
And
Tampa to
look,
win
you're a
it
Bills
all. Don't you
fan,
like
so
Tom Brady? You're a Tom Brady fan.
I picked the Rams to win.
Okay.
The NFC, and then the Bills and the Chiefs. I got the home team because you're a Bills fan. You like
Yeah,
Thurman Thomas
I'll
and
run
Jim
with the
Thorpe
Bills.
and
Yeah. I'll run with the
cool.
Bills all day long.
All right, so
Thurman Thomas.
who do you think has the best chance to win a Super Bowl that has never won one?
The best chance to win a Super Bowl that haven't won. I think it's the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Bills. I think
Okay.
Cincinnati has been hot. They've been rolling, but I just don't see them winning it if they go to the AFC Championship. I just don't see them winning the AFC Championship. Now, the Titans have never
Yeah.
won a Super Bowl as well, and they do have all the firepower. Derrick Henry is back now, so we'll see how that's being factored into the game. Will it be a huge mistake for the Titans? We don't know. We just got to see it play out. But it seems like Tannehill has been controlling the game since Derrick Henry has been out and has been doing a wonderful job. So, yes, I think if the Titans can survive the Bengals this weekend, them and the Bills have the great chance of being Super Bowl champions for the first time. But I'm going to pick the Bills just a little slightly over your Nashville Titans. Who do you got? Who do you pick? Who you rolling with?
Yeah, I'm liking the Titans. I'm liking the
Okay.
Titans. The Titans have, they've been dominant all season. They really never wavered throughout the season. And you know what? I think many people were waiting to see what would happen after the loss of Derrick Henry. I mean, me included. It's like, okay, well, can Tannehill lead this team to the playoffs? They had all the players that got the pieces, certainly on the edge to have the receivers. And then, well, we know the personality of Vrabel, the head coach, has really got this defense playing at a high level. They were right up there with the Baltimore Ravens in terms of time of possession in the AFC. So they control the clock. And despite not having Derrick Henry, they were still able to do it. I like the Titans, man. I think this is the year that Tennessee gets it done. I think this is the year that Tennessee gets it done. And certainly anything less would be a huge letdown, considering that they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So Nashville, let's go, baby. I'm ready to head down there and get me some Princess hot chicken, some Hattie B's, and
Hey,
some
we
country
going.
music.
If they make it past this divisional round, I see you there, baby.
I'll see you next week.
I
If the
see
day
you
to play
there.
next week, I'll see you next week.
Yep.
We're there.
It'll be the Bills and the Titans. Bills and the Titans.
Oh, okay. All right. All
AFC
right. You
Championship.
still riding on the Bills, and the Titans.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, hats off to Mike Berger. Losing the offensive coordinator this past year and still having a dominating offense says a lot about the head coach. Says a lot
Yep.
about the head coach.
Well, those are our picks for the divisional round, and should be a always exciting week of football. Look, our last topic of the show. There's been a lot of change. Obviously, the end of the season comes with a lot of change and a lot of head coaching vacancies. Certainly, some franchises have a more attractive franchise coaching vacancy than others, but I think the biggest question is, of all the head coaching vacancies and GM vacancies, the biggest question as it always is going into them is the minority equality for leadership positions within a franchise. And Mike Tomlin, since that's the only black coach in the NFL right now, how much emphasis do you think the NFL should continue to put on? I know there's the Rooney Rule, but you also hear like these franchises just saying, oh, we're going after Coach Harbaugh in Michigan, and we want him to be our head coach. Like, just kind of naming blatantly who they want and who's their lead candidate. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys did that with Mike McCarthy as well a few years ago. And, so you bring in, a black head coach just to ensure that you check the box in the Rooney Rule when you had he was never a factor of being a qualified candidate because you'd already identified you. But I'm telling you, if John Harbaugh is leaving Michigan to go to the NFL, he has a head coaching position that he's signing for. So how much emphasis should the league continue to put on these teams to ensure that there's fair hiring practices when selecting head coach and GM positions?
You know what? I don't know if it'll ever be fair. That rule is put in play to make it look like, they're interested in African American head coaches. I think that there are way more minority players in the NFL than any other race. And to say that a black head coach cannot lead his own kind or team, it's kind of like a slap in the face to the players as well. So you're saying we only can attribute to the game by playing it but not coaching it? That don't make sense to me. There's a lot of coaches in the NFL that never played football ever. But here you have coaches all around the league that has experience, maybe playing or just experience in the NFL for generations. This is crazy to me that there's not probably, if not the equal amount of black head coaches as far as white head coaches. Let's talk about GM spots. There's very little at that spot too. Yeah, the Falcons, hired their first black GM last year, which was outstanding. Because Mr. Blank and how he thinks here in Atlanta is all about equality. And I think he's going to pick whoever. Doesn't matter the race. He's going to pick whoever qualifies for that position, and he thinks that can lead and run his organization for him and succeed. So. It's all the NFL is all about who you know, and it would never change. It's all about who you know, who you like, and it doesn't matter the race, but more times than not, I think African Americans will get the short end of the stick.
Sadly, you're right in a lot of factors that the NFL is made up of a more than 70% of people of color, right? And in terms of leadership, I think the Dolphins, because they did retain Greer, so Greer's still in position there with Miami, and there could be one other black GM, but I know Miami has one, but that's it. and representation across the NFL in terms of head coaches. Okay, Mike Tomlin is the only one. There are how many vacancies now? Is it 8? Is it up to 8?
Yeah, I
6
know
now.
New York. New
Houston's,
York is open now.
yeah. So I think it's 8 head
You got
coaching
a few GM
vacancies.
spots that's open as well.
And this is what I'm saying. Like how many of the head coaching is it fair? Is it an even? Is it lopsided? Like where where does the NFL step in and ensure? And certainly they can't tell the franchises who to hire or but what's fair? Is it just I want to interview one candidate to ensure that we check the box in the Rooney Rule, or I don't know. I don't know how they look at it. I'm sure, like some in terms of ethics, what's ethical in terms of hiring practices in sports
Mm-hmm.
has always been the fight. It's always been the fight for African Americans to really get a seat at the table. And not only when you get a seat at the table, it's like there's a different standard. There's a different standard being held to the African American coaches than there are to the white coaches in the NFL. And really, to me, and sorry that this is just the way it is in my world, and certainly there's another way that we can reframe it. But racism it's still pertinent. It still exists, and it exists in leadership practices. It exists in hiring practices. It exists in the ethics and diversity in sports. So this fight and this battle to get black head coaches in the right seat of qualified coaches. For instance, Todd Bowles. There's no reason that Todd Bowles should not be in a head coaching position next season. Well, unless he doesn't want it. But
And be enemy. I mean,
you
he's
know,
been on the list for years now.
it's time. It's time. So certainly, I think there is still a lot of work to be done in terms of diversity and ethics in sports, and there's a lot of work to be done in terms of the NFL having this tagline of end racism and diversity and these initiatives that they're campaigning all across and
Mm-hmm.
creating awareness. To me, no one gives a damn if you're creating campaigns of awareness if you're not practicing it.
Mm.
Simply. So practice the awareness and the diversity that you're preaching, NFL. That's my challenge to you.
Well said. Good challenge. It's a very good challenge. So we'll
Well,
see. These next few weeks is going to be crucial, and I guarantee you, everybody like you and I, and former players and players around the league, colleagues, wherever, that we're all looking at the NFL. Because year in and year out, there's at least 6 teams that's looking for a head coach. At least 6, right? When has there ever been a time besides what's his face that was down in Jacksonville that a coach that is not of color get fired in the first year, or second year, or third year? I love Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer was my guy here when he was the defensive coordinator. I love him. But Mike Zimmer has had 7 or 8 years in Minnesota to try to get it right, but hasn't, but finally got fired. But you have a minority head coach that's been in the league 1 year, 2 years, 3 years as a head coach and don't get that same opportunity. It's like, okay, like, what kind of message are you sending as an organization and as a company, as the NFL itself? What kind of message are you sending? Are you saying that African American players are only good in the player role and not necessarily coaching role, or they can't lead in the big seat? They only can lead in offensive coordinator or being an assistant coach to the head coach, or whatever the case may be. It's not a lot of opportunities at a head coaching job for minorities in this league. I see the NBA. The NBA has done I think more of an outstanding job than the NFL has as far as equality in in their organization. When is the NFL going to back up what they're saying? So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to the playoffs this weekend. That's for sure.
To kind of wrap that up, I think we can look. I mean, that's football operations. GM, head coach, right? And franchises also have the business side of it, business operations. There's only one black president that's leading business operations for a franchise, and he's in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Wright. One. So, to me, this diversity and inequality of hiring African Americans and minorities in leadership roles extends beyond the playing field and the decisions of football decisions, GM, head coach. Let's talk about business ops. There's no representation in business ops. We go look at the front office. Okay. Now let's look at the business operations of the functionality of building and generating revenue, corporate sponsorships, community engagement, marketing, and legal. Right. The numbers of representation of minorities and African Americans in those seats as well is significantly low. So to me, the NFL has a big challenge ahead, and it's not just about creating awareness for the rest of the world to see and demonstrate equality and end racism and stop hate and all of these hashtags that we're seeing. To me, it's the NFL practicing what they're campaigning and doing it by creating leadership roles within organizations, not just in football operations, but in business operations as well, for minorities, people of color, to assume some of those seats, because there are a lot of qualified candidates who can lead a sports franchise, build and generate revenue, create community impact, and put butts in seats. I believe it. Okay, well, we'll put a pin in it right there and put a bow on it and try to land this plane. This is Two Brothers in the Huddle. Enjoy the division round of the playoffs. We'll see. Oh, Monster, don't forget to send me my gear, man. Send me my gear. What we betting this week?
Let's see. Man. Let's see.
We can think about it. You can bet the next pair of J's. Yeah. I'll even take a pair of Tiger Woods shoes for that matter. Either works for me.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, put me in some Tiger Woods.
You need some autographed Tiger Woods. How about that?
Hey, well, if you can swing that, you might as well just, he can sign it after our round, after we play together. That's what I'm talking about. All right, well, we'll figure out what the wage is. Meanwhile, the picks are in. The matchups are set. Enjoy wild card or enjoy division round of the playoffs. We'll be back. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.